Hi, I'm Tim Murphy. I work for ABB in the U.S. Service Organization and Optimization Services, and I'm here to talk with you today about the QCS sensor stability channel, which is previously we talked about control utilization, and as I mentioned, the QCS has a set of 3 channels: control utilization, sensor, and the VPA channel. For the sensor stability channel, again, we have data view and scan view and track view that we can look at for the sensor. For the field engineers and the customers who have interest in the channel, the scan view is a great place to start. So if we go to the, for example, the weekly scan view, looking at the weekly scan view, we can see the time periods of the analysis that we're looking at. We can pick one particular time period that we want to look at, and that's out here at the end. The list of sensors are shown here. The sensors themselves, if there's an issue that's being reported for a sensor, that's something that will be indicated by a bar. So any sensor that has a horizontal bar indicates there's something you need to check on for that sensor. We can then also drill into a particular sensor. If we want to look at, say, this is a caliper sensor. This gives us more detail of the caliper sensor itself. Here we can see that there was 2 instances of an issue that occurred during that scan of the sensor. We can also see the limits that are being used. The nominal is 26 and the range is plus or minus 10. In addition to that, if you want to look at the actual raw data for that particular sensor, you can drill into the raw data. Okay, and the raw data actually shows you, here you can see for the data, each data point here actually represents a standardize from the sensor. So this is we're monitoring the standardized from the sensor on the scanner and looking at the stability there. So from an average of 26, our averages here at 26 are nominal, and then plus or minus 10. So you can see that there's a couple outliers here that have caused this to occur as far as the trigger for the KPI, which the KPI is what we call the key performance indicator, and that's really the key to understand and see, where are there particular issues that we want to identify. There's also, looking back at the main display here, if we want to look at a different time period for a sensor, instead of looking at, say, the weekly, we could look at a longer time period. In this case, we can see a monthly view. Here there's a month's worth of data. Before we were looking at 1 week. So again, there's a large collection of standardized data that we can see. We can look at a particular sensor. Here we're looking at the air column. And if we look, for example, we can look at the measurement column for that. And that gives us a nice view of the data. We can see, the stability. But then you can also notice that there's one outlier here. So the outlier is related to say a standardized issue that occurred. But the main thing to realize is that you have the raw data that you can see for the sensor. The scan view itself is really the place if you want to actually look at a collection. There's the analysis here that's looking at all the sensors at the same time. So instead of having to look right at each individual raw data like we just showed on the data view, here this gives us a summary. So over this analysis period, we're detecting where are the issues I need to look at. So it's coming right up to you, and you can see, for example, color has a couple issues that you can take a look at. So the main advantage here is that instead of having to look at several displays for each sensor, you can look at one display and it summarizes, what are potential issues or things that you need to consider for each sensor. So this is probably this is a good summary of the QCS sensor stability channel, and thanks for listening.